Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the manual. I'm excited that this is being shot during the day. I'm thinking I'm starting to feel the flow and how these things can go so I can show y'all exactly how this is about to be done in the middle of the afternoon. Usually I have to do this at night when kids are going to sleep. I'm tightening up some work. And by the time I try to do this, I'm tired. I look tired. My eyes are baggy. I'm like, man, y'all should really do something special, and it never looks right. It never looks right. So I'm excited I get to share this with you while I have good energy. The sun's out, the guns are out. We're diving in today. I want to dive into something that really sparked me this week on some conversations that I had with several men, not knowing who they were connected to or the value that they possess by the mere association that determine their value affiliation. Let me dive into this more. You are guilty by association with everything you do. You've even heard the term in many ways that you are the sum of the five closest people that you are connected to. That means if it's your wife, if it's your kids, or some of your friends or colleagues or people you grew up, you take on some of their potential, their value, some of their characteristics that kind of make you up into the person you are today. All of us, we can say that we are kind of derived from multiple types of people. I'm here to kind of help us challenge, but also see and extract the value from some of the people that are adding value to our lives, or the people that are in our lives that are creating value that we're not taking advantage of. Let me dive into this even more. When I was talking to a good friend of mine and colleague, the whole premise was around knowing what you have and who you're connected to. Now, everybody has a way of taking and ingesting information to utilize the information that has just been given to them. It is completely free. It's completely up to that person how they want to use that information. I learned from mentors that I look up to in business in the area of value, financial worth and gain, and purpose and vision for your life, is that the best knowledge that you can get is the knowledge that you utilize immediately now. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power when it's applied. I would always say immediately. There's no reason in giving me information on something I can't use or I can't use right now. That's why I flunked out of high school. That's why I left high school with a 1.9 GPA. I didn't even know what GPA was for a long time, but it was not information I could take and use now and immediately in what I was interested or passionate in. I want to give us a different way out of this and speeding up the process intentionally. Let me start by saying this. You are guilty by association. And because of that, your value is dependent on your affiliation, who you're connected to, that your network, and you've heard this before, hopefully you have, if not, welcome to the club of people, will determine your net worth of your value. Let me say it one more time a little bit slowly. And some of y'all have heard this before, many different ways, but your network of people, your affiliations, your colleagues, your friends, how you use them, can and will determine your net worth, what you're valued at. You're starting to see this a lot on social media, on YouTube, on a lot of these outlets today. If you watch it slowly and carefully and pay attention to the relationships and the affiliations and the associations, you start to see where the value tree is planted. If you look at ClickFunnels, I think his name is Russell Branson or Bronson. If you look at some of the pastors in the church world, or if you look at some public speakers, what you're starting to see is a metastasization. You're starting to see a collaboration. You're starting to see a collaboration of people of like-mindedness and of the same value start to collaborate, mingle, and network ideas on new courses, on a new product. And they're not just choosing somebody random out of space or somebody random off of social media. Usually people will associate themselves with like-minded or like interest or like value. And so that guilty by association, but value created by their affiliation. We can see that today in our market. And I was sharing with a friend about how to utilize our relationship and his relationships that he's looking at building and looking at establishing, but utilizing it immediately when you have the knowledge. What's the point in handing you keys to a Mercedes when you just gonna drive off in the Honda anyway? So, hey, you should go check out this property. It's cheaper and it's much better. And then someone goes, and not saying that my friend did this, but many of us, we do this. I do it all the time, not thinking, wait a second, why didn't I just, man, if I could have just did this, I would have saved money. I would have saved time. I would have made money. And I would have saved him more time if I would have took this piece of advice. The thing is, most of the time, write this down, we don't know who we know. We don't know who's around us. We don't know other people that's around us, their value, because most of the time we're not accounting for, we're not reevaluating our value. Hear me again. The reason why you're not getting where you want to in life or establishing credibility and value is because you have not taken into account who you know, especially in the entrepreneur world, that it's not what you know, it's who you know. Here's some things I learned about knowing the people that I know, especially when there's somebody of stature, of value, of influence, or wealth, is that when you're around these people, you want to be taking notes and asking questions 98% of the times, but beware of the parameters of the timing of those questions. You can take notes anytime silently, but when you go to get a specific question answered, a lot of people are getting information from YouTube, their mentors, people next to them, valuable, pliable information now, and they're doing a couple different things with those. What they are doing is listening, ingesting in from their position of who they are and what they are now, not taking effect in who is giving that information and how they're associated with this person. I'm gonna circle back to that here in a second. But anytime you're getting information from someone who knows something more than you or who has been somewhere further than you, you want to figure out where are you in this information and how you can apply it immediately. How can you, oh, all I needed to do is go buy some of this caulking glue and put it on this tile and it'll glue. But you have the option to wait. Most likely, if you wait, you're never going to get to it. You're never going to apply, and then you got to come back and re-ask the same questions. You're gonna miss the opportunity, and you won't be able to give and teach that opportunity. So you're kind of being low-key selfish because you're waiting, and you are positioning yourself for the right time. The Bible says this: farmers who wait for the right time for it to rain never plant anything. Hear me. They sit around, they wait till rain comes, and they never reap a harvest. There's some information that you're getting from YouTube or even from me right now. Sorry for the presidential thumb. I got to get rid of that. I don't even like it. That's just an awareness I've seen on myself on the videos. Why do I always do this Bill Clinton situation? Anyway, but there's some information that we get that we don't apply immediately, which hinders not only us from benefiting, but others benefiting. I know what it's like to ingest all this information from people on YouTube, social media, and here's a caveat: follow on all of your platforms people who are doing or have or being what you want to become or where they're at in life. Only follow them. Don't follow all these fake entertaining things. Don't follow all these misleading people who acting like they became a millionaire overnight or they got some tracing. No, there are some people out there that's been doing this for a while. You want to find out who failed the most. You want to find out who messed up the most and how they overcame that and be able to take those same principle, keys, and advice and apply them immediately. Some of these people understand exactly what I mean by you are guilty by your association and you are valued by your affiliation. Let me break this down. You have to know who you know. Usually these people, you are getting mentorship, you're getting some type of advice, and I'm going to keep saying it so you understand what I'm saying. And they're right underneath your nose, people who can unlock the doors to what you want to get to and to where you want to be quickly if you can apply it. You don't want to be that person to, yeah, man, I'm going to see how that goes. Thanks for that advice. And I'm going to see how that goes. And let me finish this thought. You don't want to take the advice from valuable people who are giving you valuable information that they rarely give out. And if they do, they just we put it on social media or YouTube so we don't ever have to say it again. But you're getting information, and it's like holding out your shirt to catch it instead of taking it, putting in something that you can then go and reapply and share to the whole world. You want to be able to take the words of men, the words of advisors, the words of mentorship. A lot of people find this difficult, but I want to give you something that goes beyond what I'm saying. Let me take it back some years so you can understand the principle of this. Jesus said it like this: when you pray, ask in my name, because when you pray in my name with my credibility, you'll get the results that I get. People tag it like this, and this is how we use information. Jesus, thank you for my food. God, cover this meeting. God, thank you for this opportunity in Jesus' name. And they just slap it like some paint. That's how we take advice. That's how we take encouragement. That's how we take mentorship from valuable people who are giving us their credibility, their name. There's a difference in using what they gave you, what they're giving you through their words or their time. And there's a difference when men, by their affiliation and their association, is giving you, without having to say it to you, the ability to use your relationship as value. Jesus said it like this: pray in my name. When you do pray, pray in my name, because my Father in heaven will hear your prayers. Why would I pray in his name? And what does that mean? If you go deeper into the word name, and in a certain translation, it means onoma, which means to not only identify someone with, but if you take it for the word in the translation meaning onoma, it means to not only take on the label, but take on the identity, take on the posture, take on the mindset, take on the swag, take on the attitude, take on the vibe and the feel of how when Jesus prays, he gets results. His Father hears him. It's as equal as you walking into a restaurant and say, hey, this is on Don. Oh yeah, we know Don. And you get access to things and to value. One of my favorite movies is Dumb and Dumber. And my favorite part is when Jim Carrey refers to Seabass as having the tab, and he almost kills him for doing it. But she says, hey, how would you like to pay for it? And he pretty much tells him, hey, it's on that guy's tab. And Seabass goes like this, like he's got him. And Jim was like, oh shoot, that credibility that I just gave of value just worked. And so I want to help us with receiving value and then being connected to value. You are and will remain guilty by your association, good and bad, less or more, value or undervalued, or mediocre, and by their character. There's a lot of people would say, yeah, I vote for Donald Trump. Let me be 100. A lot of people would say, yeah, I vote for Donald Trump for X, Y, and Z, but they would never hire him. Most likely they wouldn't really hang out with him because of the value of his character. They love his business knowledge. They love his policies because the business, the money, and the policies are detachable. That's how most people can vote for Donald Trump, because they're not voting because they truly, truly like him, because they wouldn't want their kids to even be like that, most of them, because the character isn't there. Nobody wants a narcissist for a child or for a friend. Nobody wants that, but we do want that money. We do. I don't mind those policies. Yeah, we can agree to that. Guilty by association, for good or for bad. The other thing is that value will then level up your affiliation. If you level up your affiliation, then your value goes up. That's why you see a lot of these influencers and brands connecting together, because when they collab on a video, collab on a brand or a product or a service, the value doubles in time. So I want to step over into how this connects even with me. The doors that open up when people find out who you know and what you did for them, how y'all served, how y'all connected together, or how you were connected to them or something, changes the landscape. One of my favorite mentors I've ever had in my entire life, his name was Wayman Tisdale. He was a famous NBA player from my hometown, Tulsa, Oklahoma. But he was also a super, super gifted musician, bass extraordinaire. I mean, he created a sound that most people, and even myself, have been able to adopt and been able to use. Wayman was a direct mentor of mine that I had the privilege, that I believe, who was sent by God to teach me several things, not only my craft and passion in music, but in business, how to serve people with our character and personality, and a ridiculous, amazing father. Wayman Tisdale showed me kindly firsthand what it's like to be someone of value without having to force it and utilizing what you have. Wayman Tisdale, the name, just the name, especially in my hometown, has got me more value, opportunities, and indoors of things and people than any other name. And I say that because, one, I can actually utilize that name. It's not, there's some people who, oh yeah, I know Wayman. Oh yeah, me and Wayman did XYZ. There's something about the value of affiliation and the utilization of that affiliation, meaning the work between the value created for them or what they did for you. I've been in newspaper articles with Wayman Tisdale. I was one of the kids that Wayman took underneath his wing to not only give instruments to, but he literally took me underneath his wing to teach me the principles and the value of music and bass and being a musician in ways that I'll never forget. One of the famous things that he told me that I'll never forget, that I use even still to this day, is it's not what you play, it's what you don't play. I take that saying everywhere I go. It's not what you play, it's what you don't play. And that's usually true for even being a professional in any field. It's the things you don't do. It's the things you don't say. It's the ways you don't think that separates you from the pack. It's the things that you don't do that's common, like sit around watching TV all day, wasting your time scrolling or hitting the snooze button, which I often do. Those little things that separate you from the herd and from the pack helps you stand out as a person with what you're gifted to and what you're passionate and destined to do. It's not what you play, it's what you don't play. Wayman's name, literally, his family, I mean, the whole Tisdale name is a household name in Tulsa, but few people have been able to, one, honor that name and give value to that name, who had the privilege that I had to just be connected with him in that manner. I just came out with my bass record that I was holding back for so long because of insecurities and confidence that I had to, one, would I give value and hold up to the name? Because most people know where I get my bass playing from. When you hear the record, it sounds very similar to Tiz or to Wayman. And I held back for so long, one, because I didn't believe that I had that value. I didn't believe that I had that skill. I didn't believe that I truly had that connection or relationship or affiliation to even try to exemplify what he has given me and what he has passed down to me. I held on for a long time knowing what I had, but I wasn't secure and confident. That's what usually prolongs us from utilizing that value. I've heard it in my friend's voice the other day. I hear it in many men's voice of like, bro, you know, you could be doing this, you know, you could have did this. And it's usually that internal value system that we have of ourselves that we can't, and we are unable to identify the value of our affiliation with other people. And I want to help release that to every man who is in business, who is getting opportunities or trying to step out in something, that there's an opportunity, there's information that you can take advantage of now by the mere value of your associations and your affiliations with people, that they don't have to give you permission. Oh yeah, bro, you can use my name. Like, you've earned that. You've proven yourself. You've done the hard work. You've paid attention. You took the notes. You went and got the coffee. You've done all the things that have served you into that parameter that you know of, that you actually have value in, that you are sensitive of. And I was very sensitive of that. Even before I put out the record, even before I told people who I was affiliated with, there's a parameter around it that you're usually let in by the mere relationship and the establishment, not just within the years, but the quality of the years that you put in. There's another moment that I had with, I was touring with a pretty notable band, the band of We Are Messengers. You see, I'm had the ability to say that. There was a point where I didn't want to. Yeah, man, I did. Yeah, man, I did that, or I was with them because of my insecurities of being able. Am I worthy of saying this person's name that everybody knows? Am I worthy of identifying with or having the credibility of this band or this job or this business? And I want to release us to use it, to use it. You've established time, credibility, and relationships with the things that you've been affiliated with. And there's a way that you can use it. Remember, Jesus says, when you pray, pray in my name. Look, y'all know me. He was talking to his disciples. Y'all know me. I taught y'all. There's things that you know that you have access to that most people don't have access to. So when you pray, pray in my name. Tell them Jesus sent you, and they'll take you to the back of the restaurant. Imagine that. I was with this band, just in an amazing tour season with those guys. Super, super dope band. We Are Messengers. Go like and subscribe, everything that they do. And I was in that band in a time and season for a purpose, for a completely unique position to serve in that band. And I found out why. I have to tell you about it later. Super dope. But there were many of times where, depending on the city, it didn't depend on the city. When I was in a city and we were near the grounds, or we were having a concert somewhere in the city, there was a privilege or a point in time where someone would ask me, and I didn't do it on purpose because that's being cocky. That's you being loose with your credibility of, hey, yeah, man, I'm with Drake tonight, or yeah, I'm with We Are Messengers. Y'all give me everything free. Like we don't play games like that. That is disrupting. That is dishonoring and unethical for anybody to do, is to use that credibility just to force your way into things or to build your empire. Like, we'll talk about that later. But there were moments where people asked me, or conversations popped up, and they were like, wait, what? Are you here with XYZ? Or are you, wow, I love that band, XYZ, a band that someone else started, a vision, a sound, music that someone else started, that I had the privilege, true privilege, of being in for a moment in time. I was a part and within the band to establish myself with the association and the affiliation of this band. So whenever I walked around with the same credentials. I didn't write one song. They didn't know that. But the way I carried myself, the way I carried the information, my job was to project and exemplify, hopefully that's the right word, the band or the person or the brand in such a way that it felt like they were touching and interacting with everyone in the band, even the lead singer. That's how, and that's how you'll know your perimeters is, can I carry the mantle, the presence, the character? I think that's probably the highest one, the honor of that seat, of that role, so that when I go and say, yeah, I'm affiliated with someone, that the value remains the same or it goes up. That's something you do want to carry. And for all you men who are hesitating with that, and you may need permission within yourself or from that person, that, hey man, is it cool if I, let people know that I was affiliate or that I'm connected? Yeah, man, bro, you my bro. Like, you were here. Like, what are you talking about? You gave, you served, you added value. Most time they're not gonna mind, but sometimes internally you need to know that, so you know how to move and be comfortable and move with confidence, because people can smell when you're not confident. They can smell the fear in your numbers that you're giving them. They have a clear sense of who they're dealing with based on the confidence that you reek off. They understand that. And I'm really, really in the mode of thanking God right now that I'm able to give this away. There's so many of us who are affiliated and have done amazing things, but we were afraid to use our character and credibility to further our value, to spread the value, really, to move the needle forward. And I want to release us all who have that ability. Some of you guys are still behind people. Some of you guys are still trying to come up, and you forgot who you served. You forgot who you added value to. You forgot how many times you sit there and listened and learned from something or someone. And I want to give you the responsible opportunity. That's a good way of saying that, Twan. Good job. I want to give you the responsible opportunity of using that to create and build value. Because there's a time where the people that help create a value in them, when you start to build and use that credibility and that value of affiliation, that there's a time where then you can start to affiliate and partner in different ways you didn't expect. That's how affiliation and value is built. And that is how you grow your net worth, by your network. You got to take who you've been networking with and learn how to spin and convert that into value to build your net worth. Trust me, it has worked for me my entire life. I've been an entrepreneur majority of my life, and it's usually by association. Oh yeah, I did this. Or yeah, I was on that tour. Or yeah, we did that for that company. Or yeah, we started this startup company because we did XYZ, XYZ. I'm just naming off credibility and associations and affiliations. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. That's a secret. Don't steal this opportunity. Don't be irresponsible. And just because you got a picture with somebody, or just because you chatted for a second on a hotline or in person after a conference, oh yeah, man, I know such and such. Oh yeah, man, we hung out for a bit. No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. And your character will let you know your parameters of what I'm saying. You will know, oh, I can do that. Or yeah, I need to establish myself some more and build those relationships to be able to further that value. There's a point when I was with We Are Messengers and getting perks because of people who knew the band. There was a moment where I went to the YMCA. I think we were in Oregon somewhere, and I knew that I could add a friend on to come to my guest pass. And I told my boy, like, hey man, come through. I got a guest pass. Yeah, I'm gonna get you in. Everything's gonna be straight. He got there and there was a problem. Hey, yeah, well, the way we do it here is a little different, which YMCA, if you hear me right now, I need all y'all to be on the same page. That should not, if I go to Chick-fil-A in Wyoming or Florida, I should see at least the same thing. I should at least see the number one and the chicken nuggets and maybe that wrap. Definitely the wrap with the avocado ranch. I need to be able to see that in both places. If not, I'm gonna be a little mad. YMCA, I need you to get on the same board, because in this conversation, until I use my credentials, now this is something I want to teach you, how to spot or set up your affiliation. So let me give this away for free. There was a moment where I asked her for a manager, and you got to have this type of authority. This comes from confidence. Hear me clearly. There's a point where let me kind of reenact how it went. Hey, this is my friend, such and such. He wants to get in. Oh, we don't do that anymore. Or that's not our policy here. I don't know what we can do about that. Well, I'm able to do this in Nashville. I've done this in California. I've done this in other places. You guys don't do this. So I'm forcing them into my kind of pocket of getting what I need done. Let me just say it like that. So I start to notice people's body language and their tone. Like my whole analyzation system goes into like 100-point indicator system of how to navigate. And you use the same system to navigate deals, offers, and closings. You need to hear me what I'm saying. So I'm paying attention to how she's communicating to me, and her body language is letting me know that she is limited with information. She don't have that pull. She don't have that knowledge. She may have only been here for 2 weeks. So I go into the next phases. You know what? Becky, that's probably not her name. Who else may know a little bit more than you? I would feel more confident if there was someone else who can give me the correct information. My friend came all the way down. He just walked way over here. I don't want to, lie to him or feel like I'm in a bad place. Her manager comes out, and immediately he starts to run down. Yes, sir, we don't do this, but I seen something very, very unique that give me an indicator that I may have a rite of passage to use my affiliation. He had a cross on his arm. I'm giving you some insight. He had use this in business. Every entrepreneur, you need to learn how to use these indicators, because usually the things around you will let you know where to point, how somebody is saying something, why they're saying something a certain way, and the things that they are saying you can use as bait and release, catch and release kind of things. He had a cross on his arm, which indicated to me it wasn't like a Catholic style cross. It was like a holy, this is cool Christian kind of cross thing because I might be a believer. Our music was Christian based. Let me say it like that. I'm using my indicators and what I'm affiliated with to move an opportunity. Watch it. So after seeing his arm, I immediately just go into business mode. You got to excuse me, but not really. I immediately went into business mode. And I said, look, we traveled to tons and tons in YMCA. I've never heard this ruling. We are actually in town. We're a Christian band. We're by the name of We Are Messengers. Wait, who are you with? We're with y'all probably don't even know this because y'all way up here on the West Coast. We're with the band called We Are Messengers. We're actually playing 2 blocks away, and there's not much to do. And YMCA has been just gracious, and just with their availability and having spaces, we're able to work out and have a different space where we maybe can hang out to play basketball, all these things. And he's like, you know what? And then he went into a different mode. He went into serving mode. Instead of by the policy, by the book, he readjusted his association with and his information with his policy, with my affiliation with the band. Check it. That's how powerful. Immediately, you can use this anytime. And I was trying to let some friends of mine know this, and I let people know this all the time. There's so many little tricks. Yeah, you got to build up to this, but this information I'm giving you right now, you can apply this today. There's indicators that will help spark how you can use your associations and your affiliations in any instance. And so that's one story that I was able to use my affiliation and my association to up my value, show it, so much so that there was an opportunity for me even at the YMCA where the guy that let us in and made some changes to be hospitable and to serve us into the YMCA, I was able then to give him, hey, you know what, since you did that, watch it. Since you did that for me, you know what, if you guys want to come, I want to make sure you guys have an opportunity to come. There's some tickets that'll be waiting for you at the door. What? Wait, what? Really? What? I think the girl didn't even know who we were. The guy was excited about it. He went and told one of his office, I think managers, supervisors. She wanted tickets. Yeah, we're going to hook y'all up with tickets. I didn't even talk to management yet or the lead singer yet, but I know they would appreciate getting more people there. And so that happened so much so. Watch when the door opens. Watch how the door opens. This is small, but it's actually huge. We get upstairs. We work out. I dad my boy. We got it. We in there. We ain't going down. That's how we do it, son, from New York all the way to Oregon. Anyway, that's the best New York Bronx accent I got. So I'm working out, and I see the lady who asked for tickets. The first time she comes back and she asks me, could her husband come? I was like, yeah, we'll put, 2 or 3 on there for you. Then she comes back again, and she comes back with another person. I said, oh Lord, she want more tickets. Oh, this is wow. She brings the CEO of that branch up to meet me. Watch it. Watch the favor. Now watch the immediate affiliation. Hey, since you did this so much and so kind for us, I just want to introduce you to the CEO of YMCA of that branch. And I met him, amazing guy, and he was just thankful and grateful from what I did. And I was like, I'm more grateful that y'all let us in. We didn't have to fight or pay that $10 to make that happen. And so, but you see how the level rose? It kept rising as we were exchanging value. And then I shared my affiliation. Someone recognized that affiliation as value. Not only did they honor my affiliation, I honor their position and their information. If he couldn't have let us in, he didn't have to do that, but he did. And so my job as someone who is always serving value, someone who's always looking for value, I got to always find ways not to just to get value, but to give value. When I gave it, it came back in the form of no cash, no job opportunity, no business opportunities. But I was able to meet the head guy of that place. See, the Bible says it like this. You need to hear me. A man's gift will make room for him and bring him in front of, believe it is great men or kings in some translations. because I had the gift of creating value and being hospitable and serving, exactly what the guy did to me. We just exchanged it, one for one, two for two, that I was able to meet the CEO. Like, he was brought to me. Usually, hey, can you come down to our office? He came up to me and wanted to shake. And I thought that was just a very special moment. And I wanted my boy, I can't say his name, I naturally want to say his name. I went and told him what happened, how it happened, so he can use it. Because he's seen me do this. There's another time. Oh, y'all need to hear this. We were playing a show with another big artist. I don't want to say the names. I don't want to be outside of my character and name drop, but let me go ahead and name drop because I do have that associated affiliation and credibility. We were opening up a show with Skillet, super dope band, crazy, crazy show. There was a lunch special that was offered to us because we're the band. So I got to tell y'all about this steak, y'all. And it's in Pennsylvania somewhere. I got to find out this winery. You hear me? There was this steak option for the band. Usually if we go somewhere, they're like, hey, order these things. We can have it to you, bring it down to your trailer, whatever. So I said, I see a steak, and me and my boy who was with me at the YMCA, I said, man, we getting a steak. So we walk up there. No. We got a text that they weren't, I think it was a text that they weren't doing these lunch. We had to eat off of this specific menu. And I'm like, wait a second. I think management already told us we can have this because I already planned for it in my mind. So it's already set. Once it's mine, like, we get it. I think that's where my son Nolan actually gets it from. I got to tell my wife because he don't take no for an answer. I think he gets it from me. So I'm like, nah, bro, we getting a steak. I tell my boy, bro, we getting a steak. I just need to see him. I just need to be able to see and find the indicators. We go up there, y'all. We get at the bar because I seen this steak and that bad boy that mug looked right. Get up there. I said, get up to the counter, and I said, Kip. I said his name. Let me get out. And I said, bro, watch this. I wanted him to watch how to get something that you know belongs to you. When you hear a no, you got to know who you know, and you got to know who you are. So I said, bro, watch this. We get no steaks. So I said, hey, man, someone offered this menu to us, but I see that there's another menu. Are we still valid for this menu? And because most people would just go by whatever they were, hey, let me get the nachos, whatever you guys were going to give me, based on their limited information and their confidence of how they can actually get the things that they feel like they want and feel that they deserve. I said, hey, man, I would really like this steak. Is there and he said, bro, yeah, we can make that happen. I look at my boy. I just kind of get on that eye like, that's how it's done. That's how it's done. And so I was able to gauge finding the right person that can make those moments happen, that can make something change. And it usually comes by that confident. But all that has to do, that type of confidence came by an association and affiliation. I've learned that from mentors, how to get from, I'm not even going to super name drop like that because I don't know them directly, but I've been influenced by their teachings, by their mentorship, by their information, all those things. That get it now, make it happen, create value, all these things. So I've been able to use that in multiple different fields with multiple different outcomes, multiple different things. So my last thing I want to give you with this, hopefully that this is making sense, hopefully that this is empowering you, making you think about, who do I know and what have I sown into or created value for that I can use to catapult, to exercise, creating more value while saving time and maximizing my resources. That's the whole sprint of this conversation and podcast, is to give you the tools, give you the confidence to say, hey, you can do this. Or did you know that if you XYZ, and then when you are given that information, how to utilize it with who you know to get where you need to get to. The last thing I want to say, that sometimes affiliation doesn't always work because other people's confidence, limited abilities won't and can't believe. I don't even know what I just said. I can't even say it back, but I need you to just rewind it because that felt really good. Sometimes your affiliation will be hard to convince when you're dealing with other people who can't believe or won't believe, don't have internal value, or has been misrepresented or has been misinformed and has limited their value and their confidence in their information. Hopefully all that makes sense. I want to give it to you like this. Jesus died because of his affiliation. Jesus Christ died because of his affiliation, not because of the value he brought. Check it. He died because people were starting to put together who sent him, where he was from, what he was claiming he was from. And he wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm the son of God." He would always want people to figure it out, because when you figure it out, you hold it. You own that information. You got it. That's the point. That was the reason why he always told parables. His parables is meant to unravel truth to you, to where you own it, to where you found out, oh shoot, that's what he was, and you'll never forget it. But his affiliation with the claim that he was the Son of God and the Son of Man, born of a woman, earthly human woman, but being the direct Son of God that everybody knew. We already knew he was coming, the prophecies, but they didn't believe him. Even though he brought the highest of value in that land and in that time, miracles, healings that they never seen of before, miraculous instances, and the type of value information, podcast, mentorship, value that he was giving people on a regular, people were walking from hundreds of miles just to hear him. I mean, you ain't doing that for nobody today. You ain't walking in your neighborhood barely to go hear somebody speak. Imagine walking hundreds of miles because somebody is bringing that much value. You have to get up and walk to them. Imagine that. But his affiliation, because the affiliation bar was set so high, you can't be a man and know him. You look like me. You're a Jew. What are you talking about? I'm highlighting a lot of dope things right now. Him being a man, and that's what they said to him. They said, you being a man, calling yourself God. And Jesus says it like this: doesn't your scripture say ye are gods? Some would have a fit of how you want to take that. I'm going to take it exactly how I said. Doesn't the Bible say you are leaders? Doesn't the Bible say you are creators? Doesn't the Bible say you are love? Doesn't your scriptures that you believe in say that? And they said, blasphemy, you liar. Bro, you super lying. My Bible say that, but I don't believe it, so you lying. And that's why they stoned him. They didn't stone him. They went to stone him, but that's why he was crucified, because his affiliation. They were unaware of their own value that Jesus was trying to let them know of. There's a reason why he was doing all the miracles. There's a reason why he was healing all the blind, because he kept telling us to use your faith that you already have. I came to just really tell you where I came from, how the rules work, and what you can do. He even said things like this: you will do greater than I. Most Christians don't believe that. Most people who believe in Jesus, they believe in Jesus to do it, but they don't believe in themselves to conquer it and do it. He kept telling us, faith is as small as a mustard seed. Have you ever seen one? Like, it doesn't take a lot. Do this and people will start healing. People will start overcoming things. Demons will start scattering. But his affiliation cost him, because the bar was so high, and we settled for the information of what we were limited to. Come on, from the same source, same thing, but couldn't apply it. That's why Jesus died, is because of the lack of applying the affiliation of the information from the one who was creating the value creation. And the one who created all things. Sorry, that made sense to me, actually, right? As soon as I said it, it made sense. He died because of his superior and ultimate affiliation with God, being God's son. They're like, bro, how you in the bloodline? It would be like me saying, oh yeah, I'm the Queen of England's nephew. They're like, bro, there ain't no black people in that family. Second, you don't have no English accent, but I am a part somewhere back. Somebody had a maid or some help that birthed me. You never know, but you can't knock the affiliation. That's why Jesus died. And he was coming. Well, wow. Jesus came to affiliate us all. He said, I want us to be one, like me and my Father are one. I want that. He says some of y'all are not going to agree with that because you're too religious. You bought into the lie. You're hypocritical. You do all these other things, but you don't want nobody else to know. You want to be in control of that information. You want to suppress people. You want to oppress people with keeping them limited with the knowledge that they have without telling them what they really should know and who they really are. Jesus died because of his affiliation, hope with the hopes that we will believe and have the affiliation of him by doing the acts. You better hear me. Showing the value in the acts of faith to prove where that Jesus was here and that who sent Jesus. He said the least things that you can do to let people know that I was really here is by the way you love. That's it. Mustard seed and love, those are really easy sounding things. I know it sounds so easy, but it's so hard for people to do and to believe in. I'm going to hope and pray that by the end of this podcast, you start to believe in the value of you. You start to believe in the value and the knowledge that you know. Don't worship. Don't praise the knowledge that you know. Apply the knowledge that you know for the betterment and good and value and the servitude for other people. And to be able to take that ability to be affiliated, take that blessing, take that gift of people that you are around, people you've been around, that you learned with, that you helped grow, that they helped grow you in some type of form of association. Take that experience and relationship and multiply it. That's the goal. That's the goal of today's message. I know it's long, but that's actually really, really good. And I'm learning to now do podcasts when I'm really fired up about things, because I was fired up about this because it impacted me in such a way that I didn't want my friend to fail. I didn't want him to be loose or limited with his information or with the conditions of time and and the conditions of his own confidence. I wanted to empower and influence and give him as much information so that he can make the most valuable decision, not just a decision, but the most valuable decision. They say it all the time. We're in a time where there's more millionaires created more than ever. I hope and pray at the same time that there is more millionaires being made, more opportunities being freed, that wealth has never been more accessible, that more people are getting free and mentally and creatively more valuable with their confidence and with their information of not only what they know, but who they are and who they know. I know that me knowing Jesus, me knowing who God is, the Father of my life, the Father of my creation, it gives me an affiliation. Y'all need to hear me. Y'all playing games. Knowing of Jesus and knowing the God as my Father gives me the association and affiliation that I can do all things, because the Bible says it like this: I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me by his affiliation, by what he's taught me. That's actually what that means. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, through him, for him, by him, through what he has shown me. He says, come to me and I'll teach you. If you're weary and you're worried about what's going on or what you don't know, he says, train me. Train me what you know for what I know. Y'all playing games. That's actually the legit transcription is information. He says, I'm going long, but somebody needs to hear this. Jesus didn't say, come to me who are weary and heavy burden, I will give you rest. After that, this is not what he meant. He says, learn from me, take upon my yoke, for it's easier. He says, I will teach you. Take upon my information. You'll get a lot more done. Take on what I know, take on my knowledge, take on my wisdom, and you'll get exactly what you're looking for. He even went so far to give us his credibility of his name. He went so far to give us the credibility of his name to use to get what we need from the Father. How kind is that? Because the disciples had affiliation with him and from him, he gave them authority to speak on behalf, power of attorney for him, so that they would be blessed. He even went so far as this. It's my last thing. This is a true affiliation. That it shows that when Jesus died, he didn't die just, man, all right, y'all know what's happening. Boom, peace out. See, a lot of the mentors that I even follow, half of them are dead and in the grave, and they're more valuable now than they are alive, which is crazy. I hope that happens for all of us. But one thing that separates Jesus from all of them and anyone who's ever lived is the thoughtfulness and the kindness of Jesus. So much so that he left an affiliator. He left the Holy Spirit. He calls it the Holy Spirit, the Paraclete, to walk alongside us and to guide us through all things. The Holy Spirit is an aid. It's an affiliator. It speaks. It iterates. It aligns itself. It's the liaison between men and God, men and Jesus. Jesus, he not here, but the Holy Spirit is. There's always a third party. There's always another affiliator, an association in the room. When you're dealing with things, when you're going through things, when you're building things, when you're confused about things, there's always a third party near you. Jesus left him. He's called the Holy Spirit. Because that's easier to follow and believe than the reason why he got stoned is, bro, you're not God. There's no way his affiliation got him killed, but he gave us an eternal affiliation with him. Y'all need to hear that. I hope you guys are blessed by that. I can keep going on and on and on about the power and the value of association, guilty by association, and being valued by your affiliation, because your network is your net worth. If you become more valuable with who you know, you can do a lot of amazing things in society. If you become more like Christ and more closer to God than ever before, you can be more valuable to society. One is valuing and serving the community. The other one is serving and valuing what God created. A lot of dope nuggets in here. And I hope you're able to not only chew off some of these, but share most of them. And just know that here on the manual, you decide the type of man you want to become by the man you associate and affiliate yourself with. That's why we're here. Hope you guys have a blessed week, a blessed year. I don't know what's going to come from this, but if I'm affiliated with the King, if I'm affiliated with this conviction to do this, only value can come to all. And I pray that for all of you guys. Be blessed.